Hello, good afternoon. If you're family and you've come back, thank you for coming home. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Texas Beach Mom, or Mama Robin, whichever you prefer. And I need to apologize for a couple things. Number one, I realize I look like Sideshow Bob. And number two, I know today is Tuesday and not Wednesday. But, I'm sitting on some stuff and I got really excited about it and I didn't want to wait till Wednesday. So here we are. Guess what I read? Ding, 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 ding. While we wait. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, I read part 2. Now, I'm sure other people have read it, and I'm sure you've heard it. I'm not going to read it to you. We're going to talk about it. In part 2 of Dylan Tallmans' book, he covers kind of the ending of part 1 as like he's leading you into part 2. So at the end of part 1, he talks about how Shanann confronted, when she got home that night, she confronted Chris with a knife. And you got to remember, this is Dylan putting down words to paper that Chris told him. And we know that Chris is a liar. Well, he knows he tells the truth sometimes and he lies sometimes. You never know one from the other. Oh, by the way, real quick, let's see. Destiny decided to join me today. Say hello, Destiny. She says, hi, everybody. You get to see my mug. Anyhow, so Dylan Tallman wrote the book. He wrote the Cell Next Door. I read part 1. I talked about it. I read part 2 last night. Had to borrow it. I'm trying not to buy. I mean, I'll probably buy them as a set once they all come out together. And there's still a part 3. But anyway, as you read part 2, he does a recap of the ending of part 1, where Shanann comes home that night at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:48 that morning or whatever, and she confronts Chris. And according to Chris, she confronts him with a knife. And as I've said before, I don't buy the knife thing for a couple of reasons. But mostly because if she had a knife, if she I know my gray roots are showing, and then I got blonde. If she confronts him with a knife, he would have wounds. He would have self-defense wounds. Because in his story, she confronts him with a knife, and he strangles her in self-defense. If he's got her by the throat and she's got a knife, she's hacking and slashing everywhere. She's doing her best to take him down. You know what I mean? She's not just standing there with a knife in her hands going, and dying. No. She's hacking and slashing. So that's why I don't buy that. And he had no defensive wounds. Or the other alternative to that one was was a struggle for the knife. There was a struggle for the knife. And, yeah. I don't buy it. But anyway, back to Dylan Tallman's book. So at the end of part 1, beginning of part 2, he talks about how Shanann knew about the affair and she confronts him with a knife. And he strangles her in self-defense. And we know he strangles her. I just don't believe the knife thing because he had no wounds. But as it continues, after he strangles the life out of Shanann, apparently the kids are still alive. But that's not what we're talking about. He apparently called Nikki. Brown bikini, skanky empanada, and let me give credit if anybody finds that funny. That is Kelly from WTO. That's her word for Nikki. So Kelly, thank you. I used it. Skanky empanada is what she calls her. Because that thing about he writes to her and he calls her a spicy empanada. Yuck. Anyway, so skanky empanada, Nikki, brown bikini. That's an awful bikini. Where'd you get that thing? Anyway, he calls her. And apparently, calm, cool, and collected, tells him, Okay, this is easy. We got this. Now, I honestly don't know every word that was said between them. I'm ad-libbing here and there. The sense the sense I'm getting essentially was basically, I know how to handle this. I'll be over there in a little bit to help you with this. Take the kids, go to work like you normally would. Let me know when you're there. Da 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 da. Now, according to the discovery, this is where the book and the discovery kind of play into each other. According to the discovery, we know, and based on the discovery, that Chris left around 5:30. We know by the discovery that Nicole never clocked in that day. That don't mean she didn't go there. It just means she didn't clock in. So we know that Chris left around 5:30. We know he went to Survey 319. We know by the discovery that she never clocked in, and we know by the discovery that she did ask for proof that he was there. And we know by the discovery that he sent her a picture proof that he was there. So some of this does make sense. All right. So apparently she said she would help. Now, this is where part 2 doesn't have a whole lot more in it. It was just as long. It took me just as long to read it, but there wasn't much more discussed in it. I read it last night. I got so excited reading it because it matched my theory all along that the whole plan was to make them look like they were missing. To make them look like Shanann just up and left with the kids and now they were missing. It's been my plan. Well, that's what my theory all along. If that is in fact the plan, it matches mine. Because as I've said, he's a narcissist. He doesn't want to get a divorce. He won't do it. It would be, it wouldn't make him look good. Narcissists are worried about how they look to other people. But I'm not going to go through my theory. I'm not going to go through my theory. I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, but if you want my theory, you can just go back and you can read it. Not read it. Watch my video again. But we've heard my theory, and we know that if all this matches up, then it matches my theory that he planned on making them look like she left. That, according to him, was him and Nikki's plan, was to make it look like Shanann and the girls were missing. And something none of us knew, according to the book, Chris had planned on going back to North Carolina with Nikki, taking Nikki and going to North Carolina and starting fresh there. So, now, here's where you're all going to get mad at me, and I'm sorry. I didn't take notes. And I could have sworn that the book says that this happened in the basement. But I'm not 100% sure. Sorry. I didn't take notes. It was last night when I read it, and I went to bed and I went to sleep, and then I woke up early this morning and I was hyper and wired and excited because I had information that matched mine. But I think it took place in the basement. I think that's where she confronted him at. That one I'm not going to say is absolutely right because I don't remember if the book says that or not. And I am sorry. I wish I had taken notes, but I was so excited. You know how sometimes when you're reading a book and you're reading through it and you start reading faster and you start reading faster and you just because you're trying to get to the end of it because you want to see how it ends. It's kind of what I ended up doing last night, so therefore I didn't take notes. But that was basically it. So I'm guessing part 3 talks about about the kids. I decided it was very important to note that according to Chris, after he strangled Shanann, he called Nikki. Nikki told him basically what to do next. Nikki told him that he was going to go to work. Nikki told him that he was going to clock in, he was going to do his normal day, and that she would come over and help him with the rest. We know that, like I said, that the dogs didn't scent anything in his truck, which makes us wonder where Shanann was. There's also videos, supposedly videos. I mean, I've seen the videos. I don't remember all the different ones I've seen. I remember watching Zawoki react to one, but I don't remember who. Probably Geneva, but I'm not sure. But about there being drag marks and fabric on the fence look like the thing. So that all kind of plans. So start working with me here. So here we go. If in fact he did strangle her, and if in fact he left with the girls around 5:30, went out to Survey 319, where he apparently killed them, and then put their bodies in that thing. If there were drag marks, and if there was pieces of fabric on the fence, her body could have been drug out and put in Nicole's truck. I am almost willing to bet. Excuse me. Destiny, what are you doing? Don't dig my bed. My bed's not a place to dig. I know you're trying to get comfortable, but this bed's perfectly comfortable without digging. Thank you, ma'am. Anyhow, the drag marks, the bedding, I think it's very possible that Nicole had Shanann's body in the truck, in her truck. I do. Now that I've read this part too, that's what I believe. I believe she had Shanann's body. He had the girls. She had Shanann's body. And I believe the reason why she wanted proof that he was there, so she could meet him out there. Now, I don't know in what order who did what. I think, this is where my theory takes over. I think while he was killing Cece and then taking her and putting her in one tank and then killing Bella and taking her and putting her in another tank, I think lazy ass was trying to dig a hole, and I think that's why to put Shanann in, and I think that's why it was so shallow. I mean, he had the tools in his truck. We see that in the videos, in the body cam. She got the tools out of his truck. She dug the hole. She put Shanann in the hole. And then maybe he left. But maybe by the time she finished that, maybe he left. So she just left the sheet there and said, fuck it. I mean, you know, it's Nicole we're talking about. But yeah. Based on the story that Chris has told Dylan that we have thus far from part 2, and based on the things from the discovery, and based on videos, I think Shanann was in Nicole's truck. I do. But that was woke me up early this morning. My brain was doing that rapid fire thinking stuff where your thoughts are just kind of like bouncing all over. Yep. I think Nicole was... Shanann was in Nicole's truck. And I think she might have been the one that dug the hole. And it's very possible that Jim helped her drag the body out. Jim met her at the house, and he helped her. You know, leave Jim alone. That Jim. I think he helped her. Don't have proof of that. I don't even have proof of the Shanann being in her truck. But that's what I think. Based on what I've read now, based on the discovery, based on the videos, she had Shanann. I think Shanann confronted him in the basement. I think he killed her in the basement. I'm not sure how he got her from the basement to the backyard, but I'm sure she was in Nicole's truck And I think it was Nicole that dug that shallow grave and put her there and then left that sheet out in the field. I don't think she had enough gumption to do it right. I think she was too lazy, and I think he put the girls in and left because he had other sites to go to. And I think the plan was for him to go ahead and work a whole day at work. I think the plan was for him to work the whole day. I think he was going to come home and be like, where's Shanann? Where's the kids? I think he was going to do some quick cleanup, because they did say that when they went back the next time, it smelled like cleaning chemicals. I think he was going to do some cleanup. I think it's very possible that Nicole was going to use Shanann's phone to do text messages back and forth between Chris and Shanann to make it look like they were arguing. I think one of them was going to dispose of Shanann's car to make it look like she had taken the kids and left. I think that was their whole plan, to make the kids left. And then I think once Shanann was missing for a little bit, I think, like he told Dylan, I think they were going to go to North Carolina and start a new life there, because his parents would have liked her. They didn't like Shanann. They would have liked her, I think. He thinks. Maybe they wouldn't have. I don't think Cindy would have liked anybody. It's just my opinion. I don't think Cindy would have liked anybody that was married to her son. But that's just my opinion on that, and that's not even really worth getting into, so there you go. Chris told Dylan that he called Nikki after he killed Shanann. Chris told Dylan that Nicole helped him plan what to do. Chris told Dylan that him and Nicole were going to move to North Carolina once it was over and done with. So he wanted Shanann gone. He wanted those kids gone. He didn't even care. Pretty fucked up, don't you think? But yeah, that's it. Talk to me in the comments. I'm gonna try to go live in about a couple more weeks and see where I'm at. See if I got enough to go live. I will let people know if I'm going to be doing a live stream. Because I'd like to see my family there. But for now, that's what we have. We have Twats Wednesday on Tuesday. That's what we have. So family, friends, loved ones, everybody, I love you. Be safe. Look out for each other. Look out for yourselves. Take care of each other. Because it's a crazy world out there. And I think it's going to get crazier. Anyway, I love you. Y'all take care.